Hi there, this is Mr. Jet, and today we're going to install an alpha kit into a normal Longshot. This is an elite Longshot shell, and this reflects all you need to install an alpha kit. That's it. Just your mag release and your shell for the most part. That's it. That's all you need. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take your trigger and your trigger spring. You want to push it into the slot by holding the spring down here and into this peg here. Push down your spring, as so, and then you take the screw that holds the trigger in. You twist it in about a thread, I'd say. This is the screw that holds in the trigger. Then once you have that, you get a Phillips screwdriver and just screw it down all the way in. Next thing you want to do is take your trigger catch and your trigger catch spring, and you want to put it in. The kit is designed so the trigger catch spring is in the center of the Longshot, and yes, we do supply a Longshot spring. Let it sit in there for now. You may have to readjust this before you put it all back together, but there it is for now. The next thing you want to do is you want to get all of your plunger rod and plunger head hardware together, and you want to use the spring of your choice. I had to take apart Big Blue in order to do this, so this is actually the spring assembly from Big Blue. You want to put your spring plate in first, put in your spring, hold it up as so, and then put in the plunger head, hold it in there, and remember, this can be quite, this can walk on you, so you want to hold this down really good. And then take the screw that's supplied and take the Phillips head screw and turn it in there. Put it into your plunger head. At the point where it's grasping the hex part, you can hold the head by your hand as like this, okay? And then just twist it in there. Twist it in until you have a full and complete. There you go. Okay, after that, you take your O-ring, you put your O-ring in and around it. At this point, you're ready to put in the plunger. So by putting in the plunger, you want to wedge the seal in because it is a loose seal, and it's loose for a reason, and that's because the head actually tapers, that when it fires, it grips, but at the very moment it fires, it doesn't. And you want to wedge it in sideways and make sure that the actual O-ring does not hop the side of the plunger head. And let me show you an example of it sliding over the plunger head. Okay? As you can see, let's see if we can get better light here. You see how that O-ring is now hopping over. You don't want to close it in like that. So if you feel a lot of resistance when you close it, pull it out immediately and try again. Best to do this at an angle, I have found. But when you put it in and you feel it's free moving like that, that means the O-ring is in correctly. You then want to take the spring catch plate and you want to turn it with a screwdriver or a pair of needle nose pliers all the way around like so. Once your plunger tube assembly is done, you can then focus on other things. Like, for example, hammer time. So you want to take your pusher and your bolt sled, and you want to hammer these in. And you have to hammer it in, this pin, into here. This is a very delicate operation. You have to take your plunger head and you have to put it in the right position. In this case, it's a slightly below, about right there. Okay, and you got to take your pin, you got to push in just a little bit. And with a soft hammer with vinyl heads, you want to hammer it in as so. I make it look easy, of course, but that's only because I've done it so many times now. It should be noted that if you have a magazine that moves very far ahead or darts that are very small, this is a very good place right here to adjust for any space. One could take a small O-ring, for example, maybe a 2mm O-ring, and put it on the outside and make this go farther up. Another way to adjust spacing is to put a pad on your plunger head, or to put a spring inside of the plunger head to the plunger rod, and then glue it with silicone on the inside. This makes it so that this has a little more travel to it. So in case you have a spring spacing issue, maybe a pusher spacing issue, it can be fixed as such. Now, you take your plunger cup, and the next thing you want to do is you want to take the plunger cup and you want to put the large red O-ring on it. The large red O-ring is made to be loose but snug, so it fits inside of the tube. Next, you want to turn clockwise the pusher into the plunger cup as you see here. Make sure this is snug, because if it's not, it will leak air. You can also put Teflon tape around the threads when you close it if you so desire. But when you're twisting, do not hold the sled like this, because you will cause premature wear to the sled. Instead, hold the pusher like this. And if you want to take one monkey wrench, another monkey wrench, and twist it, that'll work too, but be gentle. Don't squeeze it too tight. You do not want to crack the plastic. With that assembly now finished, I can then mate the pusher to this. So I usually put this in as an angle as such. And there we are. I then take the whole assembly and I put the whole assembly into my Longshot. I line this groove up with this groove. And there you have it, it's done. Next thing I gotta work on is my barrel and my dart gate. The barrel and dart gate assembly has to be twisted on as so. Hand tighten these, do not machine tighten these. And be very careful with these tabs, they're thin, don't break them. They have to be because of Longshot specifications. You should have no more than a thread extra right here. If you have any more, it's got to go in farther, or you won't have a good seal and you'll chaff your darts. At this point with a Longshot system, you have a few options of how to put your gate in. You can do one thing you can do is you can take the original barrel that comes with a Longshot. You can put this on the front and then put an O-ring on the inside. Just like one of the O-rings, extra O-rings that comes with the kit. What this does is it helps center the barrel into the front. And usually you need like another screwdriver, a small screwdriver, to push the seal in. That's option number one. You can then take the entire assembly. You can put the gate in like that, and you can put the entire assembly in. Get cut. You can then take the whole assembly. You can push in your dart gate as such, and you can put in the front tabs like that. Once it's in, you can take your O-ring, you can put it around there. About a 2mm O-ring fits in this groove, and this keeps vibration from making the barrel move. That's method number one right there. Method number two involves taking a piece of tape along where the rib would be and making it so that these two parts would fit equally here. It's not as nice looking, it's a little junky, but some people just don't like this orange barrel. The next method you can use is to take a barrel, wrap it in tape as so, until it meets the intersection of these two sides. And this is done often because a lot of people just do not like this orange barrel, me being one of them. After that, you can do something like I would do put Teflon tape on the inside, which I did because this is the final configuration I actually want. And even though you don't really need Teflon tape, some people just like it, like me. And you could put a few winds of Teflon tape on the inside of this. So under very high pressure, let's say 26 kilograms, you ain't gonna have any limitations with air seal whatsoever when that wonderful air hits high pressure. So you can then take this barrel assembly, you can put the front of this as so, and you can land it in as so. So as you see, there are a couple ways to put the barrel in. And I'm giving you on this video quite a few pieces of advice, like how to deal with a magazine that has a farther up clearance like a lot of your artifact stuff does, and everything else. Remember that this is screwed on, so this is variable. If you were to find the right O-ring size here, you could move up the pusher if you wanted to. There's a lot of adjustments you can do, and in the next videos, I'm gonna show you a lot of ways to fine tune this kit and get the most out of it. So after that, and I did tell you were probably gonna have to put this back in again, take your catch spring, put it in the center, like this. Put it all back together. Start with your trigger catch first, because that's the part that always makes a problem. And screw that in. Just screw that in, because you don't want that trigger catch spring dancing out. The Zeus does it a little less. The Longshot does it a little more. Alpha Kit has springs for both, so you can actually use the Alpha Kit for either. After you got the trigger catch anchored in, check to make sure that the bolt side is properly aligned, that your tube is properly aligned, and close everything up. And you got 29 wonderful screws that you have to turn, which I'm going to save you that indecency. Now on this blaster, don't forget to put in your top tab over here, unless you have another attachment. Like if you have a P-rail or whatever. And again, continue screwing in all these screws. At this point, you can load up your blaster and you can prime it as so and fire it. Thanks for watching. And don't you go change it.